Hetapu, assalamu alaikum, namaste, haru nefer. This is Qesankh with another broadcast for you. And in this broadcast, we're going to talk about how to operate at genius level. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. I do have free ebooks for you. You can scroll down below, click on any one of those links, download the ebooks and start reading today. If you want to take your spiritual knowledge to the next level and beyond, you can become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel it anytime. You get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, videos on how to contact the ancestors, how to invoke spirits for your protection, how to work with the oracles, how to do self-hypnosis, a lot of good stuff. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so that we can get the revolution started. All right. So I want to talk to you today about operating at a genius level. I'm putting together my program, which is called a 6-figure PM. And one of the things that it includes is the aspect of super learning or accelerated learning, how to learn something really, really quickly. Now, I want to just take you to another arena where we start looking at those in the conspiracy theory arena or New Age movement, where they put forth the hypothesis that ancient man and woman were contacted by aliens, hence is why they were able to build the pyramids and do all this wondrous stuff. And there's a reason why they come up with that premise. Is not because they go into the temples of Kemet or Egypt and they see hieroglyphics of flying saucers or whatnot. No, the reason that they're coming up with this hypothesis is because they truly do not understand the nature of the mind, the spirit, and who we really are. And the ancient Kemetic people, the Egyptian or ancient people of antiquity understood this. And this is how they were able to produce geniuses like Imhotep. Okay, and how in modern times we produce geniuses like Nikola Tesla. Now, I want you to understand that these individuals of antiquity were whole brain thinkers. They used both the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, but more importantly, they used an entire 360 approach to intelligence. Something modern man doesn't understand because the ruling elite has trapped us in left brain thinking, concrete thinking. And because they have done that, because they have trapped us into concrete thinking, when we look back at antiquity and we see these wonders of engineering and science, we can't fathom how they did it. We don't understand how they did it because we're so trapped in one perspective, one way of looking at things, which is the left brain. You know, when they say you're a hammer, everything you see is a nail, you know? So we have to get back to that kind of advanced learning, accelerated thinking, genius level learning. And it's not going to come from our modern institutions of higher learning. It's not going to come from religious institutions, because those institutions were put together by the ruling elite to oppress us and to keep us from thinking. So I want to go over just some real quick things, because I don't think my internet connection is all that great, to give you an understanding of what's going on here, all right, in terms of the mind control, the oppression that we're under, and how we are not using our full intellectual capacities. We have been robbed of that, specifically third eye, the intuitive faculty too. All right, so let's go and just go over some points, some key points I wrote down, because I want to go over this with you guys. First thing of all, they have trapped us in left brain thinking, so everything we conceptualize has to be concrete. We don't deal with the metaphysical aspects. The other thing is, polarized thinking. It's either good or bad, left or right, black or white. This is the Hegelian dialectic. When we come up with the premise of good guy, and then it automatically has to have a bad opposite. And our ancestors always saw things as complementary, not as contradictory. The other thing is we are closed-ended thinkers. So what is closed-ended thinking? It shuts down the thinking process. So if I tell you that that door is red, that's an absolute statement. There's no open discussion. But if I tell you or make the statement or question, what color is that door? It forces the mind to start thinking now. There's a difference. And our ancestors, when they created the Metu the hieroglyphics, you'll always see that the figures were in action or in the act of doing something. That's an open-ended thing where you're forced to kind of think about what the character was doing, as opposed to the character sitting stationary and not doing anything, which is closed-ended. One shuts down the thinking process, the other opens the thinking process. We have rid ourselves of the 100-monkey principle, meaning that if you gather people of like mind, of a certain level of intelligence, it will spread like a virus to others. If you get people who are subpar and you make that the norm, it will lower the IQ of other people. We're only dealing with verbal communication in the higher learning education system, meaning that the only thing that verbal communication is one among any processors. So when you go to school, which is based on the Greek mode of teaching, where you're lectured at to death to put you to sleep, we are not factoring the other aspects of learning, which is tactile, which is kinesthetic. So we're leaving out the other processors that could help us in terms of learning. We've only included verbal. So if I'm a tactile person, meaning I need to touch it, or if I'm a kinesthetic person, means I need to be in action doing something. If I'm a visual person, I need a visual representation. But the only processor we're allowed to use is the verbal communication. We're also dealing with secondhand information. What does that mean? That means that we're learning based on other people's findings and discoveries. We're still learning EMC, Einstein's equation, E equals MC squared, which was created by Einstein. But there's no one coming up with their own equations that are on par with Einstein, because we keep learning secondhand information. We're not learning how to think like Einstein. We're merely understanding his equation. The other one is that, which I talked about this, is we all learn differently through the different processor. So understanding that learning is a 360 process, it's very, very important. You're not just learning through one process or one mode. Learning is a multifaceted approach, which our ancestors understood and embraced. This is how they were able to travel to the stars, build the pyramids, do all kinds of wondrous things. Now, the program that I have, which is called the Six-Figure PM, is a program that allows you to get into it, learn how to be a digital project manager, excel at it in just 5 months, and be able to get a six-figure job. And the reason why you're able to excel at it is because, and here's the website, the Six-Figure PM, is because if you go down, what I'm applying in this program, and it's not a crash course, it is accelerated learning, super learning. And here is based on this book, super learning. As I said many times, that the Russians pioneered, but they actually got it from ancient African civilizations, which produce individuals like Imhotep. So you will learn these techniques that will last you your entire lifetime of how to pick up a subject, learn a language quickly, and be multi-talented, a savant in a way. If you apply these things correctly, I want you to understand that. Now, the one thing that really, aside from everything that I already stated, the one thing that really gets me about the modern learning institutions, not only do they lack everything I have just mentioned, but they lack an understanding of health and how the health impacts the ability to learn. If you're deficient in certain supplements or vitamins, you're not going to be operating at 100% capacity. You're not going to learn good. And every individual is either born with more of a certain type of vitamin or a deficiency in a certain type of vitamin. And that could definitely make the difference between you excelling or you falling behind. And what the modern education system does is it blames you as there's something wrong with you for not being able to excel in the program. Whereas I never looked at things that way. I always looked and said, what is the individual deficient is? Is the individual has a problem with a certain particular processor? You know what I mean? Which is the segregative, the congregative, the analytical. So these or the synthesizing, these processors work in tandem to create a full picture of the world. If you are a synthesized thinker, you won't see contradictions. You will see complements. If you are a segregative thinker, you will always see separations and things. You will try to label and define them and things of that nature. So when I start looking at educating somebody, working with them to bring them to a mastery level of learning and on that way toward becoming a genius, one of the things I incorporate is supplements. And I said, listen, if you take this, you're going to have better cognition. It's going to improve your memory. It's going to slow your heartbeat so you won't be nervous. Because when you're nervous and tense, that puts up a barrier to learning. And when you get into my program, the 6-figure PM, I'm going to start you on some supplements to get you going. One of the things I use, or you're going to be using, is what we call a Qesankh 1. And this is great because what this is a rejuvenation formula that helps, and so that you don't lose brain cells, you have more energy, you're more clear and more awake. And I use B12, give you a burst of energy so you won't be like in a class bored or dull or falling asleep. This is one of the mastery formulas that I found, and it has a lot of stuff in it that I used to prescribe individually, and I found this that it contains all of this stuff. This is Neural Ignite. This stuff is fantastic. Let me just, it has the Boca, it has St. John's Wort, and St. John's Wort is very important because it gives you a positive feeling, a positive outlook. Many times when we're learning or test taking, we're very negative. This boosts your positivity, you see, and it makes you want to learn, to be happy to learn. It helps to with the serotonin levels. And then you have a lot of you have ginkgo biloba, just a lot of other good stuff in there. This is the one formula I really rely on. Another one is lion's mane, and this helps with memory and focus, so that you're not drifting off when something is being shown to you. You're hyper-focused in on something, and that's great. Lastly, Huperzine A, which deals with mood. It helps you with your mood. It helps you with memory and retention in terms of maintaining the information in a long-term memory, which is the right brain. So I want you to understand, and this is a shame. This is a damn shame that what we call is institutions of higher learning do not incorporate vitamins and herbs or supplements into their curriculum, knowing full well that minority students, as they use the term, come from food deserts, and most likely many are malnourished. And if you're malnourished, you're lacking in certain key vitamins and minerals. And if you're lacking in those key vitamins and minerals, you cannot learn properly. And then to take those individuals and compare those to other individuals who come from affluent societies, who don't have certain deficiencies, and to make it seem that there's something innately wrong with the people of color, that is the most egregious thing. Do you understand? So this program, and I recommend everybody check it out. If you can get into the program, do so, because it's going to enhance your lifestyle, not only by getting you a 6-figure job, and it goes more because the program is working up to building millionaires, but that comes later. I don't want to talk about that now. But it's also going to help you in terms of your intellectual capacity. And what you're going to find out after the program is once you've gone through this, you're going to want a whole different social circle, people who are on par with your level of intellect. You're not going to want to associate with the same people. I guarantee you that. You know what I mean? So think about it. The URL again is the Six Figure PM. And this is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of Ma and Tahuti, Ma to the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, I'm in Ra.